Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. What we got to do for today is break down a morning stock watch list for you. So with no further ado, we're going to start sharing the screen. So what we're going to first here cover is Tesla. This has been a really active stock over the past couple days. You know that I've been trading it and buying it. So I want to kind of walk you through, give you my thought process on the stock currently. If you guys seen it bounced just the other day at about $308 or $310, right in that area, we had a significant bounce. So we've pretty much gone from about 300 bucks all the way back to almost 400 now. We hit about a high of 385 here. So let me take a look at, say, a 5-day chart. All right, so you can see we had the bounce down here at 308. We've pushed all the way up to 385. So you're starting to near this zone just from the other day, that had a lot of selling activity. So for right now, it would be pretty impressive to see Tesla go all the way up to 400 and 420 and break out. It's not going to do that. It would first go there and then it would sell off. So if you're somebody that believes Tesla's going to go through, like, say, 430 bucks, again, probably not going to happen, at least on the first try. What we'd be more likely to see is Tesla rise to, say, 400, 420, and then pull all the way back down, say, to, like, 380, 390 before actually breaking the 420 zone. All right, so let me point out what I actually kind of think we're going to see here. All right, so I traded the bounce. I caught basically a $70 bounce here on Tesla. I bought the other day down at 315, and then I sold the previous day here, and then I sold some more this morning here. So I caught a really nice bounce in the stock. And if we zoom in, pretty much what happened is we bounced down here at 309, 310 off the yearly support. And we've bounced up to the 4-hour half standard deviation mark. So I think you're going to see Tesla pretty much sell off right now or pull back around this 387 to 390 price. Because if I zoom in, you will see that there is, in fact, that kind of dotted line in there at about 389 to 390. That was pretty much my final target for the Tesla bounce. That would happen easily. We could maybe go to 400 or 420, but I figured the move that we saw from about 308 to this close to 390 price was going to be the easiest obtainable move as quickly as possible. So everything that has happened now, I believe, was the really easy part. And now I think the more challenging part is going to come if it's going to go higher. Now you're going to have to go through some pullbacks. You're going to have to play with, kind of some awkward trading. So for me, I'm pretty much done with Tesla on this bounce. Anything that happens from here on out, it really doesn't matter too much to me unless the stock is tanking or ripping at this point. So I think we might see a couple days here on Tesla where it gets a little iffy, a little choppier, and we're pulling back. So right now, I'm pretty much a inactive participant on Tesla. I am not active anymore. I'm just going to be sitting and watching for the time being. Okay. Now, if we go over and look at the SPY, which I think is important to touch on, we touched on this yesterday morning. Now, I did mention that yesterday we were sitting on the daily chart, was it the 4-hour? It could have been the 4-hour one, actually, I guess. Wait, hold on. No, because if we put a market there, hold on, give me a second, guys. Yeah, so I think yesterday we actually bounced the daily chart half standard deviation mark. Let's just double check. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. You can see if you look, and it might have changed a little bit, but we have the daily chart half standard deviation all the way down to about 328. But yesterday, before we bounced, I actually think it was the 4-hour standard deviation mark. Yeah, so it looks like we're basically doing a 4-hour to daily chart kind of half standard deviation bounce move. And this is what I was telling everybody to watch for yesterday was we had kind of this 3-day decline right into sort of a hidden support that you really wouldn't know existed unless you're running a half standard deviation support system. And that's what I was kind of thinking we might see bounce. So sure enough, we had a significant bounce off the half standard deviation level. Today, the market still looks pretty good. We look strong. We've kind of sold down overnight, right? So if we think about this, if we're going to do like a cycling move, we had from point A to point B, right? And then we go from point A to point B. I'm confusing you. Long story short, we went from, pretty much put it this way, yellow to green, from green to yellow. Now there's a good chance we're going to try to see the markets curl up and maybe go long to retest the 341 to maybe even the 343 price here today. So for now, we're pretty much just watching the markets long bias, okay? All right, on to another important stock, which I know a lot of people might be talking about here today, is Y10. So this was a penny stock that really just ripped early pre-market and then it sold off, okay? What I want to point out to you is a resistance mark that it ran into. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, you're going to see that this ran where? 100% perfectly into a couple things. Your 4-hour standard, 3 standard deviation mark, and it ran into your 200 exponential moving average today at the price of about $9.40. So for those that were trading this early in the morning or watching it early in the morning, hopefully you were able to recognize the significant sell point at like the $9.40 price because it was sitting on 3 standard and 200 simple moving average. So this is a stock that I think a lot of people might watch today. I can't say for sure that I'm going to trade it or not. We'll see. But there is a lot of people watching it so far right now. I feel that by the time market opens or rolls around, this is most likely going to be, sort of a short. I think it's going to be a short, personally. Hopefully it's not. This stock will end up crashing. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about it and you're reading the news and you're making all these crazy decisions, just know this stock is going to crash, literally. It'll probably happen later today or it will happen by tomorrow. So this is not something you're going to want to be holding on to, okay? I could go into reasons why it's going to crash, but the main reason it's going to crash is because A, it's a penny stock and it's a hard to borrow penny stock. When you guys learn what happens to hard to borrow penny stocks, you'll understand that this is most likely going to crash 90% of the time. So again, tip of the day, if you're someone who watches penny stocks, double check every day if the penny stock you're watching is a no shares to borrow penny stock or if it's a hard to borrow penny stock, or if you have to pay a fee to short it. If you have to pay a fee to short it, then 9 times out of 10, that penny stock is going to crash, okay? So just a word of advice for you guys, keep that in mind every day you're looking at a penny stock. All right, now there's a couple other stocks that I want to touch on that had earnings reports, okay? So we had Restoration Hardware. Restoration Hardware had its earnings reports and it skyrocketed. This really actually isn't much of a surprise to me, to be honest. Okay, so we have this big jump on Restoration Hardware. Currently, it kind of still has room to run, I guess you could argue. Let me see. We're trading up at 377. That's the date. That's debatable. Okay, so let's run through this, right? If you're watching Restoration Hardware today, they had their earnings report. They're jumping really good. If we go through the analysis here, we're going to come up with a debatable move that might trick some people, I think. Hell, it's even probably going to trick me. All right, so if we look at this, you can see we have this line here. So we're pretty much just going to say that the 383 mark is resistance. And if we go look at the 4-hour chart, we're going to see that the price is just below the half standard deviation resistance here at, 379. So we're kind of in the zone with 2 resistances, okay? And that's pretty much it. So these are going to be your breakout levels. If the stock can successfully get through those prices, you can see a breakout, okay? If it can't, then you're going to sell off. So really what we're probably going to be watching for market open is just see if this price ends up hanging out in these zones, and then just watching volume, tracking price action, seeing if we're getting sort of selling activity or buying activity. It's going to push or go below any of these prices here. But for right now, 100%, you're pretty much following the 378 to 383 price on Restoration Hardware, okay? All right, next one on the list that I would like to talk about too is maybe NKLA. I want to see what ended up happening here. Okay, you can see it's just getting crushed. I don't actually know. Was there any significant news that happened last night? Traditional automakers are making the transition to it. I don't actually know. I couldn't really tell. There might be some news that kind of broke on this. I'm not really sure, to be quite honest. But either way, from just yesterday, we did mention that NKLA pretty much ran into its price target resistance, so it wasn't a reliable long at that point. And I thought it was going to have an inside day, and then the stock just crashed. So that was actually kind of impressive. So for those that are watching NKLA, I would probably, well, let's take a look at this. This might actually, we might actually be able to do something. There might be a bounce on this. Oh, or is there still a big gap to fill? So pretty much, yeah, I might want to do this gap fill here. All right, we're just going to pass here on NKLA. There's really not much more to go over there. Okay, so to be honest, today it's pretty much going to be a day of watching, most likely Restoration Hardware earnings for me. Didn't see a whole lot that I was really, really excited about. So again, for me, it's pretty much just deleveraging out of Tesla, starting to watch Restoration Hardware. And really, that's all I got for you guys this morning. So I hope you guys liked the video. Hope you learned something new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.